Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, help us out and click subscribe to show your support. And while you're at it, if you're sick and tired of spending $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling video game, stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. Create your own wrestlers, sign contracts, get involved in storylines, headline pay-per-views, even build your own corporation. All included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family and you want your name in the shoutouts like Harold in St. Louis, my good buddy Harold, check out our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast and sign up today. And as an ongoing promotion, any podcast family member, any of our Patreons who contribute $25 in a month, you're going to get a chance to co-host an episode of our podcast with me. And for our $10 a month contributors, your name will go into a drawing to also have a lucky winner co-host an episode with myself. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. Don't forget to check out ProWrestling.com if you are new to the podcast or if you just want to know what's coming on a future episode. Everything is posted there. That is our homepage, www.ProWrestling.com. Preview the topics, see what's coming. And the most important thing about that is if you have questions, comments, or if there's a topic you would like me to cover that I haven't already addressed, you can call into the Pro Wrestling Sound-Off line at 267-642-1160, where we can take care of any of your questions and get you some credit for your creative thoughts. Make sure you give me your name with your call. That call is a talk-to-text service. You talk, it texts me your message, and I can address those things live as we go on the air for one of our episodes. So this week, it has been an insane week. We are post-WrestleMania. Mania, for me, I know a lot of people, it's controversial whether it was a great show, major letdown, somewhere in between. I will say this. There were a couple matches that really delivered. I thought that the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship was fantastic. I thought that the Tag Team Championship for Smackdown got robbed. I thought that AJ versus Nakamura was capable of so much more. I thought, I can't believe I'm going to say this, that the Brock-Lesnar Roman Reigns match was perfect for who they are. Absolutely perfect. I thought the two Battle Royals were pretty solid. I love the Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy thing they're doing right now. I think that's fantastic. I'm good with that. I love that Bray Wyatt looks like Bray Wyatt still. You know how WWE back in the day, they would take a guy and they would turn him into some alternate character. And it was never the same again once they did that. Now, I understand he was Husky Harris at one point and they changed him to Bray Wyatt. I get that. That's not what I'm talking about. He's now an established mainstream star. You can't change him ever again. That's just my opinion. However, I think that at WrestleMania, one of the things that shocked people the most, obviously not the Undertaker match, that squash match against John Cena. I know a lot of people are a little bit upset about that. They've been waiting all these years for a Mania Taker match with John Cena. But here's the thing, guys. Seriously, whether that match goes 3 minutes or 30 minutes, you knew the Undertaker needed to win that match because it really doesn't make much sense for John Cena to win that match at Mania if the Undertaker has more in the tank. That way, The Undertaker can get back on the winning streak at WrestleMania. It looked like he was solid. He looked really good in his match. So I would not be surprised to see him have significantly more matches. I'm not talking about going on the road or anything of that nature, but a big match, a big event kind of feel for things. And I think that's something we could look forward to potentially going forward. I know that when he went under the knife for the hip surgery, he was saying that was it. He was done with wrestling because he thought it was going to inhibit his ability to perform, but it did not look like he was inhibited. It actually looked like he was 10 years younger in that match. I know it was only 3 minutes, but in the piece that we got to see, he looked fantastic. John Cena looked comical. The way he went to do the 5-knuckle shuffle and the Undertaker sat up and he freaked out, I thought that looked stupid, but I thought it was necessary to take away from the seriousness of the match. And now I believe firmly that we are going to see John Cena versus The Undertaker at SummerSlam. I really believe that. And with The Undertaker appearing at the Greatest Royal Rumble, I think that's kind of a no-brainer that we'll see a rematch between he and John Cena, one where Cena actually prepares for the match. The big news out of Mania, obviously, everybody's been talking about for a week now, is that Brock Lesnar won, which nobody predicted, except the few smart marks who always go against the grain. And the reality is, it was all because Brock had signed a new contract already. Nobody knew that. It is a short-term deal. We don't know how long it's for. But you know what? It doesn't really matter how long it's for. Brock Lesnar is staying with WWE for now. The plan, tentatively, from my understanding, is for Brock Lesnar to lose the Universal Championship at SummerSlam to Bobby Lashley. Now, the beautiful thing about that is Bobby Lashley is almost a carbon copy of Brock, except better in the ring. My issue with it is an MMA guy losing the Universal title to another MMA guy. It kind of takes a shot at the wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Seth Rollins deserves that Universal Championship probably more than anybody on Raw. And now that it looks like AJ Styles and Nakamura will both be staying on Smackdown, if you pay attention to a lot of the promos for upcoming events, it looks like AJ Styles and Nakamura are going to be paired with Baron Corbin for a triple threat for Extreme Rules. Then you know that they're probably not going to be a part of the Superstar Shakeup. So if AJ's not coming to Raw, it's time to elevate Seth to the man. He needs to be the star. Now, I'm not dumping on Bobby Lashley. I'm fine. You want to give the Universal title to Bobby Lashley, that's fine. But you better promote the heck out of Seth Rollins as Intercontinental Champion. He needs to make that title more than just relevant. The Miz has done an amazing job at keeping that title relevant. But we need Seth to do even more. Because Seth, no offense to The Miz, is an even better talent than The Miz is. But that being said, the only other thing that I really want to address about WrestleMania that really frustrated me was the Braun Strowman tag team partner thing. I know the kid's got entrance music now. The kid has a huge following with the fans now. But we are wrestling fans. And what we were expecting there was something that made sense. Not some random kid who is the son of a referee blowing the angle. Look, we already knew Brock could win the match on his own. That was stupid. If you were doing that just to prove that, you did that the previous 3 or 4 weeks on Raw. There's no reason to do that again at Mania. Mania was your opportunity to bring somebody back at Mania. I understand they brought so many people back the night after on Raw and on SmackDown the following evening after that, but we needed somebody to return at Mania and be his tag team partner. I was okay with Elias doing the role he did with John Cena, except that it makes Elias look... I mean, think about it. Elias jobs out the Cena, who jobs out the Taker in 3 minutes. What does that say about Elias going forward? I would have preferred to see Elias be Braun's partner. If he wasn't, he were going to go with somebody else. Samoa Joe would have been a great addition. Somebody like Bray Wyatt would have made a lot of sense. Or you could have done the funky thing where Bray went with Matt, so Jeff returned and went with Braun. I don't care how you do it. You guys know, if you listen to this podcast, what I wanted them to do. I wanted Alexa Bliss's match to go on early in the show, and for the tag title match to be the last match before the main event, and have Alexa Bliss come out and win the tag team championship. Which one makes more sense to you? A 10-year-old kid or the Raw Women's Champion for the better part of a year coming out and winning the tag team championship with Braun Strowman? I think the Alexa Bliss Braun Strowman thing would have made so much more sense, would have been a huge pop for the fans. And just like the kid being 10 years old, one thing I always appreciate is when they talk about the youngest champions of all time and things like that. Who's going to beat a 10-year-old? Like, seriously. You're going to bring out an 8-year-old one year and have them win the tag titles? Probably not. So this kind of, it ruined a little bit of that part of that angle. I thought it could have had so much more potential. I really wish they would have gone with Braun and Bliss. But, outside of the WWE world, there is other things going on. As many people have found out, Alberto El Patron has been terminated by Impact Wrestling. He no-showed the cross-promotional Impact Wrestling versus Lucha-Underground show. And I don't care what his reasoning is. He says he has a personal issue he had to tend to and whatnot. His family comes first. And he was going to leave wrestling by the end of this year anyways. And this and that. If you're not fully committed, get out. If you're not fully committed, you don't allow a company to book an angle around you and then bolt on them. And he was seen at WrestleCon. He was seen at signing events and things all weekend long leading up to. There was nothing you could tell me was so important that he couldn't be at the Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground taping. That's ridiculous. So, whatever. He's out. I know there was conversations with Vince McMahon about potentially coming back to WWE. I actually hope that does not happen. He's had his chance. It's obvious to me the guy is not passionate about wrestling like his legendary family has been. And it's really a shame. He's not that old. He still has so much more he can give to the business. But whatever. A lot of people have gone out before their time. And if he wants to do that right off into the sunset, so be it. Goodbye. We don't need you. We'll bring people in who are actually passionate about the business. Moving on from there, Dana White announced plans that Brock Lesnar, so apparently in this new contract, Brock is going to be allowed to compete in mixed martial arts and compete for a UFC. Now, that's something that Bobby Lashley did not get written into his contract. He would have been an alternate for the Bellator heavyweight tournament, but had to turn it down because he's going to focus primarily on wrestling, whereas Brock Lesnar does have that in his contract. So Dana White had proposed that at UFC 226, Brock Lesnar could be facing the winner of the UFC heavyweight championship fight coming up, and that would be phenomenal. Think about that, the storyline of that. Here's a guy who he hasn't fought in a couple years. When he did fight, he failed a drug test. And before that, he had been off for 5 years. So the guy's fought exactly one fight in 7 years, and you're going to give him an immediate shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that's horrible booking on UFC's part. But hey, they're looking to draw money, and right now all of their draws are too controversial or not popular enough. Thank you, Conor McGregor, for shafting UFC out of hundreds of millions of dollars. Not that they needed it, but he was their big draw, and his crazy antics, which I won't go into in this episode, are hurting them severely. They need something big, and it could be this fight at UFC 226 between Brock Lesnar, and who knows who's going to win between Daniel Cormier and... good, my lord, I can't even remember the guy's name right now. Wow, I can't believe I can't remember his name. I can see it. MS. I can't remember his name right now on top of my head. Anyways, we're going to move on. So, other stories from the week. First off, I want to send out a congratulations to Willie Mack. And I'm going to say why. Because Willie Mack, first off, he won the first ever House of Hardcore Twitch Television Championship. And that may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but here's the thing. Willie Mack works his tail off. And he went to WWE and got into developmental. He got down into the performance center, and they didn't keep him because of his weight. That guy can move. His body fits his character. He's an incredible talent. And Willie Mack is a role model citizen when it comes to professional wrestling. So in my opinion, he deserves a huge, monstrous push. And kudos to Tommy Dreamer for going out of his way to make Willie Mack the first ever House Hardcore Twitch television champion. Chris Jericho, as many people have heard, also confirmed for the Greatest Royal Rumble. He will now originally he was going to be in the match. Now, through some strange chicanery this week in WWE, first it was announced The Undertaker was going to be there and take on Rusev in a casket match. And literally the next day, it was Chris Jericho has replaced Rusev, and now Jericho will face The Undertaker in a casket match at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Rusev, the controversy this week was, is he on the outs? Are they gonna release him? Maybe he asked for his release in February or whatever. But when you look at all the authorities in the industry, the Sam Roberts podcast, Brian Alvarez, people like that, Dave Meltzer especially, all think that he is just fine. He's staying with WWE and that he will be in the Greatest Royal Rumble. He just wasn't in a position where they thought it was as good a match to have as the match with Chris Jericho. I don't think it matters one way or the other. I actually think Rusev, they need to keep him just because he's moving merchandise and he's over so organically with the crowd. The other news of the week, Mysterio still negotiating with WWE. He is confirmed by one website to be going to the Greatest Royal Rumble. Whether he competes or not is yet to be known. Lashley obviously made his big return to WWE on Monday night. It was beautiful to see him. I don't know why they booked him into such a situation. I would have had him come out right away. I'd have had Brock on the show. I'd have had him walk out and get right in Brock's face. Why wait? As little as Brock wrestles, you could have teased it now and built it over to Summer and had a great match at SummerSlam. James Storm also was in the hotel at WrestleMania. Apparently at first he had on the media tag, so everybody's like, oh, he didn't sign. Now he's been at multiple events, and I'm just waiting to see James Storm debut. But the people who have debuted, No Way Jose, I couldn't care less. It's like watching Adam Rose version 2.0. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't need to see that, but I'm thrilled to see Ember Moon. I think she's perfect for Raw because she will be built to be the one to face Nia Jax at some point. So I have no problem with that. And when it comes to tag teams, I thought the Authors of Pain debuting was great. I thought them leaving Precious Paul Ellering behind was a horrible idea. I wonder if that was done because Paul Ellering at his age doesn't want to be on the road with the Raw team as consistently as they are. On the SmackDown side of things, It was time for the Iconic Duo to make it to the main roster. They are the perfect way for Charlotte to get a beatdown and lose that championship and keep the women's Money in the Bank briefcase relevant. Face it, if Carmella cashed in and didn't win, what did winning the first one ever really mean? It's kind of like Asuka winning the first ever Women's Royal Rumble and then it not being successful. It kind of takes away from it. They already took away from it when she won, and within like 30 seconds, Ronda Rousey was out there parading around. Now they didn't even let her win, so I feel like that was a complete flop. So we're just going to have to see how things are booked going forward. But those call-ups, fantastic. I like what they're doing with a lot of their programming right now. I think we're going to see even more call-ups when we get to the brand split, or whatever you want to call it, coming up this week. I'm very anxious to see who's going to be there. The word on the streets is that every Raw and Smackdown superstar will be at Raw, as well as several NXT talents. They're really trying to keep this on the down low. Who's moving? I don't know if Vince is going to make up his mind until he actually gets to the show. There's a good chance that he hasn't even decided who's moving. I'm sure he's going back and forth on whether or not to move AJ Styles to the red brand, because he's such a draw on the blue brand. So it's a really tough spot for Vince to be in. You know, I don't know where it's going to go from here. We'll have to wait and see. I hope you guys are tuning in every week to Raw, SmackDown. I do want to put out there a couple things real quickly. You guys know I do wrestling shows. Tonight is a show at the Zern's Farmers Market in Gilbertsville, Pennsylvania. And tonight, not wrestling on the show, is one of my absolute favorite guys on their roster, a guy named Jack Molson. Molson's been wrestling for so long. He's an icon in southeastern Pennsylvania indie wrestling. And he got a very serious left ACL injury, and he will be out for over a year, he is saying. But I wanted to send out a get well wishes, nothing but love for Jack Molson. He is a world-class human being, a fantastic father. I've seen his daughter at the events. He's just a great guy. He's been so sweet to my kids came to his show. He's always been so nice to me. So I really hope he gets well soon, and well wishes to him. And also, if you're in the southeastern Pennsylvania region in 2 weeks, all right, on the 28th, the Worldwide Wrestling Alliance will be holding their 38th anniversary show at the Quakertown Farmers Market, and they should be stacking the card for that show. Dino Santa, the owner of the company, does a great job. Please, if you are in the area, come check it out. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you, they've been drawing such big crowds recently that they're having a tough time with seating. I think they're going to have to expand to a bigger venue if the popularity continues to grow. They're really starting to pull in some serious numbers. So if you get a chance, absolutely do that. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We'll run down all the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks as always out to bensound.com and purpleplanet.com for producing all the music and sound effects used in today's show. Don't forget to check out the Nick Aldis Magnus NWA World Heavyweight Champion interview, shoot promo interview that we did last week. It is up at frowrestling.com or on YouTube. Today's podcast is sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bringing a new friend to family game night is easy with sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this new game from Beazle Games by going to www.frowrestling.com and clicking the icon in the middle of the screen to pick up your copy today. And to alleyrepair.com. Contact Alley Repair today for servicing of all your classic skee-ball, pinball, and arcade game needs. If you're looking for your next career move and you're considering college, university life, or you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Mr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking a few moments with us today. And if you're looking for more wrestling news and rumors, go to www.sportsjunkies101.com for some of the latest articles on the world of professional wrestling. And if you want my editorial review, my articles are at frowrestling.com, and click on the In Fro's Corner link. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in our next episode. We'll see what happens with the Superstar Shakeup, and it should be awesome. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great night. Peace.